What made you say yes just the same? Are there ever times when Ann Curtis is not okay? When did people start monitoring your attendance there? Napikon ka ba ever when you're
Of course.
What was the longest time that you were nagkapikunan with anyone?
Vice. I had the biggest crush on After Magic Kingdom, I wasn't getting a lot of work.
So will you be in Showtime tomorrow?
Abangan! It's always a surprise!
We're here today at Elan by the Bay with one of the country's most beloved celebrities. She is an award-winning actress, TV host, model, mom, wife, and above all these, PeopleAsia's national sweetheart and the star of It's Okay to Not Be Okay, the one and only Miss Ann Curtis. Hi, Ann.
Thank you. Thank
Welcome
you for having
to
me.
PeopleAsia.
Thank you.
It's really an honor for us. The last time you were on our cover for a solo was in 2011.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Was that the National Sweetheart?
Yes, National.
You know, it was actually PeopleAsia who dubbed me as the National Sweetheart and gave me that official title. So thank you so much.
And 14 years later,
Yes.
still the national sweetheart. So, okay, Ann, now you're playing Mia in It's Okay to Not Be Okay. And what is your favorite thing about this series, aside from the fact that you're the lead star?
You know, I've said this in my interviews before, and what I loved most about doing this and what made me say yes was, aside from it being my favorite, one of my favorite series, I really love the topic that it delves into, which is, of course, mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that's something that hadn't been tapped properly yet in the Philippines. So I really wanted to be on board for this because it wasn't only on Netflix, where it was reaching a wider market through free TV. So it was so important for me to do it because I wanted to be part of something bigger, which was reaching out and breaking the stigma on mental health and, you know, showing people that you can heal when you're surrounded by the right people.
Were you ever intimidated by the role? Because I know it's one of your favorites.
Of course, you know, there was a lot of pressure in the beginning because I loved the series so much. So I wanted to make sure that, you know, I was going to do the best that I could do. So there was pressure there, but I'm so happy that now that people have seen the series, they're loving the adaptation. So I'm very, very thankful to everyone that's been watching it.
And it's 80 episodes.
It is 80 episodes.
What made you say yes, just the same?
Yeah, 80 episodes. It was almost a year of filming. But it's really nice because we shot in the Negros Islands. So we had Iloilo, Bacolod, and Dumaguete. So not only is the story great, but our adaptation as well is really highlighting the different and beautiful locations in the Philippines that I felt had never been seen before in a series.
You mentioned in your interviews also that you had to dig deep for this role. And we're just curious, are there ever times when Ann Curtis is not okay?
Of course. You know, we're only human, I'm only human, and there are days when I struggle, there are days that I don't feel okay. It's okay, you know? I think especially in our line of work, we're always expected to be positive and happy and a perfect image. But the thing is, like, we're only human, and sometimes you will experience going through bad days, and that's totally okay.
What is one bad day you've had recently?
Recently? What was a bad day? It's not so personal, but I think when it was raining really, really hard in the Philippines, I felt really sad, and I didn't feel okay with how our country was being affected. But, you know, it's the way it is. And if it was personally the last time that I didn't feel okay, during magpasikat with Showtime, because it's always a stressful period.
Really?
Yeah.
Of course, Showtime is very tongue-in-cheek when it comes to the humor and all that. Napikon ka ba ever when you're
Of course. All the, like, that's something that I feel even if I've been on the show for 15 years. You'd think that you're immune, but sometimes certain things will still hit you or strike you, and that's okay. But it's so normal in our family na parang you're pikon and then after 1 minute you're over with it.
Are you really close with your Showtime co-hosts off
Super.
cam?
Yeah, and we're really like brothers and sisters there. So it comes with that family. Sabi nga nila in Showtime, bawal to be pikon, but the thing is, it's okay also sometimes to be pikon, just as long as you don't take it to heart.
Yeah. What was the longest time that you were nagkapikunan with anyone? And with who, if I may ask?
Vice. And it was over a watermelon shake. Hindi kami nag-uusap dahil sa water. Dahil natapon ko yung watermelon shake na. Tapos napikon siya. And I was like, it's fine, if you want it. Sabi niya, hindi yun yung fine. And then we were talking for, siguro I think like 2 days. And then it was so funny because naka-shades ako on air kasi kakaiyak ko lang.
Dahil sa watermelon shake.
Dahil sa watermelon shake. So it's really funny. I mean, that's when parang magkakapatid talaga mag-away because it's something so silly. But nothing bigger than that.
And of course, when we heard about this, it made the headlines. And parang everything you do makes the headlines. Like your fairy walk. And even your attendance in Showtime. When did people start monitoring your attendance there?
In the beginning, it was kailan ako babalik sa Showtime because, I did take a maternity leave and then COVID happened. And, my priorities at the time was really to be a mom and focus on that. And, it became a joke muna na, oy, baby steps when I first came back. And then it became 1 day, 2 days. And then when I accepted the series, minsan wala nang 1 month hindi na ako pumapasok. So people were starting to notice that, and that's when that began yung attendance check.
So will you be in Showtime tomorrow?
Abangan! It's always a surprise!
And of course, you mentioned you're now a mom to Dahlia. She's 5 years old now, no? Do you think she's aware that she has famous parents?
I think in the beginning, no, but recently, yes. She found it funny, like, why does everyone say hello? And then finally, I brought her to Showtime for the first time. I think it was early this year. So that gave her an inkling of what I'm doing.
Is she a daddy's girl or a mommy's girl?
She's definitely a papa's girl, that's for sure, which I think is very, very normal growing up. But I know the time will come, she will be an ultimate mama's girl. And that's when she'll be like, tigdadalaga na, I think. But, of course, it's the same kind of love, but it's the iba talaga pag papa's girl. I mean, I know I've been there before.
And they're both foodies.
Super. And they know how to cook pa.
Is it a hand, Papa?
It's a foot.
She eats chicken feet, di ba? Do you eat Adidas?
I do not, but she does. And she even eats the fish eyeballs.
Ah, really?
Good.
Is it a foot?
C'est bon?
How would you describe yourself as a mom?
I would have to say, like, for me, this is such a new beginning and journey, and I'm that kind of mom that cherishes every moment. Like, I dig it straight into my heart, all of the memories. And I remember seeing this one quote where it said, like, you don't get to keep the different versions of your little child because they keep on growing up. So yeah, I'm that kind of mom who cherishes every moment.
What version of Dahlia do you go home to these days?
Oh my gosh, she's a sassy girl at the moment.
I'm so sorry.
Especially with all of this K-pop demon hunters. No, but she's such a bubbly, energetic, kind little girl. And she's at a point where she can really express how she feels, and I love that because, I really get to discover of who she really is and how her mind is working.
Do you remember yourself when you were Dahlia's age?
5? No.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I mean, I have flashbacks here and there, but not fully. I have flashbacks, yeah.
That was your childhood. Where did you spend your childhood? Mostly
Australia.
in Australia. Can you give us a tour of how little Ann Curtis walked?
She was a normal regular girl who would ride her bike to school or sometimes walk to school. Loved to play, jump on a trampoline, go on the slides at the park. I had to climb trees. Like, it was a very 90s kid kind of childhood, like playing outside, didn't come home until it started to get dark. So it was such a lovely childhood.
And then you went to Manila and you were discovered you were 12 years old, I
And
think.
then I started working right away. So I've been working since I was 12.
And did you imagine that day when you were discovered in the Jollibee store, right? That it was the beginning of the rest of your life?
If you had asked me back then, I wouldn't even have imagined like where I would be right now in my life. When I first started, it was TV commercials, and then I finally got, within that same year, auditioned for Magic Kingdom, and then the rest was history. But acting for Magic Kingdom, it was my first time to do acting workshops, and it was so easy for me because the role was a princess, so I just had to act like a princess. So at 12, it wasn't a passion yet, but it was just fun. Like, I really enjoyed doing it, and then it eventually became a passion.
Do you remember your first ever taping day for Magic Kingdom?
Oof, no.
No, not.
I don't remember it. I remember all the different experiences I had on set, but the first day, no. No, I don't.
When did you feel like that this would be the life for you already? Because it's 28 years now. You've been acting for 28 years. Okay, sorry.
No, but you know what? I feel like it's when did it become? I would have to say once I started taking on heavier roles, because when I was younger, I was in TJS, it was Barkada. Again, it didn't feel like acting because we're having so much fun. And then I started to do the teleseries, which kind of needed me to act a bit more and really get into the role. And that's when I really started to enjoy my job. I loved getting lost in the different characters.
What was your first challenging role?
Oof. I would have to say my first challenging role, aside from Magic Kingdom, but I'd have to say Ikaw Na Sana, which is a Andrew Lou Bobby series. And it was challenging for me because I had the biggest crush on Bobby Andrews. And when I had a scene with him, I couldn't see my dialogue.
Really?
One, it was super hard Tagalog. Tapos at the time, hindi pa ako marunong. So it was really, really a struggle for me. So it was very challenging for me. But in terms of like the more mature roles that I've done, I would have to say that the most challenging was probably Josa.
Josa.
That was heavy on prosthetics, and I had to fly. It was a lot of. It was intense in terms of the physical aspect. The toughest one in terms of emotions, I would have to say, Celine Magsaysay for Maging Sino Ka Man.
Wow, you really remember your roles by heart. That's a long time from the time you started. But was there ever a time when you wanted to quit or maybe take an extended break without really a good reason for it?
Yeah, I think after Magic Kingdom, I wasn't getting a lot of work.
Ah, really?
No, it was kind of like eventually TGIS came, and then, but it was in and out, So at that point, it really was wondering, should I stay or should I go back to Australia? But we decided to stick it out. And I'm very, very happy that I made that decision alongside my parents at the time.
What made you stay?
It was something I really wanted to do. Like, I was enjoying doing it. And then that also gave me a chance to go back to school.
What was your plan B back then, or your childhood dream?
My dream back then was to become a lawyer like my dad.
I see.
So it's a very different path that I went on.
So the dream is no longer, I think.
Not at this moment. If I were given the chance to finish my uni education, I would definitely do early education.
And of course, I think everyone would agree when we say that you're one of the biggest, or if not the biggest star right now in the Philippines,
Wow.
no? But you also get starstruck.
Of course.
Diba? And the last time we saw it was when PSJ was here.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about that interaction?
So it was from my Century Tuna family, and they'd asked me to host the part and do some activities with him for Century Tuna. And, you know, yeah, it was a little bit of a highlight, I would say, of my year. But yeah.
And of course, who else on your bucket list when it comes to people who can...
Right now, Jackson Wang.
Jackson Wang.
Yeah, he just released a new album, and I really love his style, his lyrics, the way he performs. So at the moment, it's Jackson Wang. In terms of actresses, Natalie Portman is still someone I would love to meet.
What are your next projects, Anne, that you can share with us?
I am doing a project with Atty at the moment, and another project, a film actually, with Direct Irene Villamor. So this is a reunion, because my last film with her was Sid and I, Not a Love Story. And then with Direct Eric Manny, and my previous project with him was Bypass. So it's a reunion actually with all the different directors that I've worked with before I came back.
What genre would it be, if you can share it with us?
Eric Matty is action,
Uh-huh.
and Direct Irene is a love story.
What kind of projects interest you these days? You've done all of them, I think.
You know, I actually have a very open mind when it comes to accepting projects. As long as the script, as soon as I read it and I'm hooked, then that's when I know that this is something I want to pursue.
Looking back, how have you evolved as an actress?
I'd have to say the dedication, I think, and learning different techniques. You know, before I would tend to use personal experiences to help me get through scenes, whereas now learning about different techniques when it comes to my craft, I've learned how to use these techniques, and it's become so much easier for me to prepare for each role as an actress.
Of the actors and actresses you've worked with, was there ever anyone who schooled you? Like, did you ever come to a taping unprepared and someone tells you, that's not how you do it, Anne Curtis?
Not yet.
Not yet.
No. Maybe a director, but only because like he had trouble understanding before, like why I couldn't speak Tagalog properly. But nagka-work naman kami ulit when I was older at okay naman na.
Has anyone made you cry on set?
No.
No naman.
No one's been mean to me. I think because I'm always a positive person naman. So
Yes, actually you are. Where do you get this positivity?
it's just who I am. It's innate. You know, I try to. No, it's just innate. That's just who I am. High energy, bubbly. No. I mean, but don't get me wrong. When I'm at home, I'm actually an extrovert that sometimes is an introvert at home. If that makes sense.
Who is Anne Curtis at home? What do you like doing with your family?
We just chill, we relax, we bond. We also love traveling a lot together.
What's your favorite movie to rewatch?
You know, I was just talking to my co-star yesterday about this, and I can't choose one because the list goes on from My Girl to City of Angels to Meet Joe Black. The list could go on and on and on, and I'd have a hard time choosing just one.
When Dahlia is at that age now when she's curious about your movies, what is the one movie you're going to show her first?
So I'd probably show her, I don't know, all my movies have a tendency to have an adult rating. So let's just say even the dark comedy, The Gifted, which I find hilarious, but there's violence in there. So I don't know. I don't think, what film have I done? I can't think of anything. So I'd probably wait till she's 18 until I show her my films.
Okay. And then last question, Anne. What is your advice to aspiring actresses who want to reach what Anne Curtis has reached in their careers?
You know, if this is something that you're very passionate about and you feel strongly for, I would have to say that you should continue to dream big, hold on to those dreams, but have the patience to work hard for them, because this isn't something that's going to be served to you on a silver platter. This is something that you work hard for. you might reach that point where you feel defeated, but that doesn't mean you have to give up on it. You might look for other things to work on, but keep hold of that dream. Dream big, because I believe that they can happen if you work hard for them.
Sorry, Paolo, what is a big no-no when it comes to achieving this success in the business?
Lacking authenticity.
Okay. Thank you, Anne.
Thank you.
This is Paolo de la Cruz for PeopleAsia. Please follow and subscribe for more real stories, real lives, and real people.